Hey guys, this is your warning. We do post up spoilers. At times we're relatively offensive. We use vulgar language. So if you think that any of those are gonna offend you in any way, shape, or form, take your step back right now. Cause buddy, this is not the place for you. Anywho, have fun listening to us, and yeah, this has been your final warning.
Welcome to another episode of Cinematic Anarchy. I am Chris, and with me today is Zeph.
Well, hello there.
And we are doing, we were initially going to do this as a three-parter, but after sitting down and ingesting the second and third parts of the In the Name of the King series, we decided to just do a twofer and do just sort of a slightly longer episode this time around.
Yeah, just a slightly longer one. Initially, for the length of the initial In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege movie, I thought for sure these two would have been able to have their own separate parts. But as we decided to go about it, nope. No,
they didn't deserve a... Well, I don't say they don't deserve it, but I want to say that we can cram this into like a 2-hour episode and be happy, maybe a little bit more. We'll see. So we sat down and we ingested part 2 and 3 of the In the Name of the King series today, and well, in all honesty, I wasn't too disappointed with the second one, In the Name of the King, Two Worlds. However, the third installment, In the Name of the King, The Last Job, well, we'll get to the reason why it just didn't fit with the series.
All in all, I mean, even with the second one, it didn't initially fit with the series itself. They try to throw us a bone there, and at one point they're like, the previous king was a commoner, and he rose up and he was a man of the people, which initially would be Jason Statham's character from A Dungeon Siege, but nothing else really connects.
Well, and there was the same basic storyline too. They had the father-son issue. So it turns out that the lead character played by Dolph Lundgren, he is the son of the Jason Statham character Farmer from
as much as I'd like to assume, yes.
So that's what they made it sound like anyway. This is the assumption. They did not refer to the king as Farmer. So it looks like they were trying to distance themselves from the $60 million failure that was the first movie. I call it a failure because, I mean, let's be honest. You've seen the Rotten Tomato ratings, you've seen the IMDb rating, and it's abysmal at best.
We forgot to give it the Anarchy rating.
Ah, yes, we did forget to give it the Anarchy rating, which we're still trying to retool.
Well, I know exactly what I'm going to rate it as. In mind, I'm going to give it a Seth rating, okay? And that was a 9 out of 10, especially when compared to the next two movies.
That's a 9 out of 10 in comparison to the movies that we normally watch.
Yeah, I mean...
So we're not saying this is a 9 out of 10 against, Citizen Kane,
Just add for movies that, for me, because like I said, it's something I grew up with, it's something I love.
Okay, so you're giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm not quite as nice.
Well, that one point is that little fight scene that you super disagreed with.
I mean, in all honesty, I would rank it probably a little higher than I ranked its two sequels. But at best, I'm thinking like a 6.5. For myself, anyway. That's my... And we're going to average this across everybody. But for me, personally, that's a 6.5. For the first one, anyway.
Well, if you guys would like to follow this series, feel free to do so.
And tell us what you'd rate it. Give it out of 1 to 10, give it a rating, and go ahead and leave it in the comments on our Facebook page at Cinematic Anarchy or on Twitter, and we'll go ahead and add you to the list. That being said, we're not really talking about the first movie other than to compare it to what we've just watched.
Let's start with the second one.
Studio.
No.
The second one, okay, so they took a hard right turn when it came to the two sequels. So you have the original, which was definitely set in medieval times, completely. So there was no, we'll just give it away, time traveling aspect to the first movie, which seems to be the key component to the next two.
Well, there was sorcery, which was involved initially. And the reasoning behind the time travel itself also falls into the sorcery aspect of it. But they just kind of, I feel like they were like, how can we make this happen? And they're like, time travel. And they're like, time travel, sorcery. Well, because it's no longer just people who have this power. Objects can be bestowed specific powers, which she has a specific bracelet that opens up the portal to the future world is what they kept referring it to.
Future world, yes. And Dolph was apparently the son of the former king, the one whose throne was usurped, and this woman. I'm actually trying to come up with her name real quick.
Initially, they don't even come out with it as him being usurped. It's him and his men fought to save the country, and out of the blue, a plague came along.
Well, it wasn't out of the blue. We find that out later.
Later. But that's what I'm saying. Initially, it states that there was a plague that killed him and his men and ravished the castle itself. So this is no longer the kingdom of Ebb. This is now they're in a far off fortress away from the initial.
See, I thought that he had explained it that there was the Dark Ones had come. That he was trying to explain that the Holy Mother and the Dark Ones were the ones that basically usurped the throne. So he wasn't talking about the plague at first. The plague was brought up, I thought, by the Holy Mother.
The Holy Mother is the one who started the plague, but never took. In the end, she never wanted the throne.
Right.
It is Raven in this one is what they call them, who took over afterwards because he was an alchemist and more than likely he had some sort of medication for the plague that he started.
Right, so it was the alchemist, played by Lachlan Monroe, who, Raven, or the king in this particular movie, that had started the plague. We don't find that out until after his first meeting with the Holy Mother, though. Because this king kind of tells him a half-assed story about the Holy Mother and what happened to the former king and the Dark Ones, and he's trying to get him to do his bidding. And he uses this woman called the Seer to sort of as a catalyst to the beginning of this movie, kind of get him on the right path to start after the Holy Mother. It isn't until after that first fight that he gets into the Holy Mother's men, the Dark Ones, that he realizes, I mean, these guys are a little timid about killing me. Why don't they want to kill me?
Yeah.
And it turns out that because the Holy Mother is actually the good guy in this whole thing.
I mean, I kind of called it.
Oh, you called it. You called it as soon as that guy wouldn't stab him.
Yeah.
Second you saw that, you're like, I know what's happening.
Yeah, and I put two and two together, and I built another chair.
We were like a half hour into the movie, and you laid out the last hour, and it's like, yep, it played out exactly like you said it was going to.
Yeah, initially. Yeah. I mean, as for the,
on the predictability scale, basically, that's right up there. Yeah.
I mean, things I didn't necessarily like, though, they half-assed his story in the beginning. Granger's story in the beginning. They show him as a karate teacher.
Right, yes.
And then he goes home, and then apparently his fellow army men died in combat with him, and he was the sole survivor, so he had a lot of survivor's guilt. And, once a year, he takes a drink with them. He says another 365, boys. Takes a little drink, and boom, assassins.
So yeah, well, there was a lot of foreshadowing in that beginning scene. So you had him. He drew the bath, which becomes a very main component to the end of the movie. So he drew himself a bath, and he'd take some painkillers, and then went ahead and took a nice shot, which he was blitzed by the time the assassins came around. And he was heading back up to his tub.
All right, listen. All right. It's a recommendation.
It is not recommended to swig whiskey with your painkillers.
I mean, don't go out drinking with on some painkillers, but you mean you have a beer or two on a painkiller?
That wasn't a beer or two, though.
One shot is the equivalent of a beer.
That wasn't even a shot. That was a decent-sized little tumbler. That was maybe two shots.
Two shots is the equivalent of 2 beers. 3 beers. And just because you get drunk off 3 beers, Chris, doesn't mean the rest of us do.
Fuck you, I get drunk off 1 beer. I don't need 3 beers to get there. It's 1 beer and I'm pretty toasty. I'm feeling good. And for an Irishman, I'm kind of a lightweight in that manner. Now, mind you, I never get blackout drunk, and I can drink a hell of a lot more than 1 beer. Mm-hmm. However, after about 2 to 3 beers, and if you ever are around for that, I get extra fucking goofy.
Yeah, listen to the last podcast.
Well, that was only a beer and a half.
1.5.
That was 1.5. You haven't. Last time I drank more than 3 beers, and that wasn't beer. We were drinking like shots out there. So I had been through a couple of shots. My whole family was in that living room, and I had a couple of friends over, and I had the urge to piss. And about halfway through this game of Cards Against Humanity that we're playing, I almost dropped trow in the middle of the living room to go to the bathroom. Okay, people got me on camera, which was rather embarrassing. You know, everybody's got a camera on their phone now. It's tough to
look for that video on our page, because I will find it and I will put it there.
You gotta go find my friend Greg. Greg's got the video.
I have a very particular set of skills that I will apply to this.
The only skill you need is to look at my friends list and find Greg.
It's a skill.
Greg, that's it. that's your skill. I can find Waldo. Finding Waldo is a legitimate skill. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fucking tough to find Waldo sometimes. It's Greg. Right. We're calling Greg Waldo. That's his name in this particular scenario. You know, go ahead and find Waldo in my friends list, because there's several thousand people in that list.
Well, I'll find him.
Okay.
I have a very, very particular.
I think you can just type his name in.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting off track.
We'll figure this out.
We're off track here.
So
yeah, that's there's a bit of foreshadowing, and there's a part that I didn't even catch at first. I don't think either of us caught the Holy Mother in that beginning scene. You saw the black cloaked figure, but I just figured she was one of the assassins.
Well, if you really paid it, I noticed it in the beginning that was a different figure than the initial assassins themselves. Their dress wear was just off a little bit, but they never really show her face. They don't give you the opportunity to do so until they go back up to the when he finally speaks to her, and then they slow it down so that you are able to actually get a clear glimpse of the face.
Right, and then we find that the mage, the king's mage, is or magi, I guess, is the. Then that was Zeph dropping his phone.
So not saying that they're not even considered magi in this one. She is an enchantress.
Enchantress, yes, okay. She is the first person from the past that basically comes into full contact with him, saves him from the assassins, and
dies.
Then he saves her from the assassins, because that one assassin tackled her, and then he full force threw the assassin into the bookcase and didn't jar a single book.
Not for nothing, though, just because you got books on your shelves, I have been to places where they have fake books as decoration.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he wanted to look smart. Invites a girl over. Look at the 500 books I have on my shelf. Oh, can I read one? No, don't touch that. They'll all come down at the same time.
You have to read them all. No, so,
gotta read them all.
But it's a very, very unfortunate for the enchantress herself, because as she opens the portal, says we only have a little bit of time. It's about to close. She pulls the two of them magically through the portal, and the moment they hit the past, she gets stabbed by the assassin.
Which seems to happen to a lot of the king's men. Let's be honest, a lot of the king's men are off, and most of them by him.
And not for nothing, who are you going to follow? Somebody whom you respect, or somebody whom you fear? Now, you may follow the one who you fear for a while, but when it comes down to, the human condition, enough is enough. Pure loyalty is better than fear loyalty. There's a better way to say it, but you know what I mean.
Right. And I mean, a lot of the weaker person will follow the person they fear. Mm-hmm. The one that doesn't feel that they can follow the one they respect. It's a matter of your own will and your own character. you know, you find that a lot of people that follow those folks that they fear, it shows a lot of weak character. And they will follow the one they respect, but it takes a fight. It takes a person with fight.
So when you go back to the first one,
right?
Nobody knew who Farmer was. At first, they see him as an insolent, arrogant bastard.
Right.
And it really takes him to join their fight. Once he joins their fight, he showed pure leadership, and everybody respected him from that point on.
Right.
It really wasn't even a matter that you are the king's son. It is like you are fighting for us. You're not fighting for your own personal gain.
And in the second movie, I really felt that they played it well enough that you really didn't get the feeling that anybody really knew who Raven was, even the people that followed him at first. They kind of half-assed him coming out and being the bad guy.
He just had that look to him, though. Like, this guy isn't this guy did some sneaky shit to become king.
That's just Lachlan Monroe. Almost every role he's ever done, he plays either like a cocky bastard or some sneaky little shit.
Yeah, but even so, initially, he's not somebody I would follow as king. I mean, I'm sure he could play that role.
Right.
But just everything about him screamed like, oh, you little scheming bastard. Everybody went from farmer to you.
Like, we kind of got that feeling. Actually, both of us got that feeling. That initial scene where the wench, that's what they called her, she tried to lay down with Granger.
She attempted to lay.
He said, no, we're not going to do that. But if you want to lay here, I could use the warmth. That's about it.
You don't want to lay with me? What if I send in a man? Would a man be fine? No.
She tries to murder him in his sleep. Then he basically pushes her aside. She impales herself on the dagger.
Which the seer and the Holy Mother came... I apologize. The seer and the enchantress both came to him in the dream.
Right.
So... was the enchantress a bad person at all? It was her prophecy that brought him to them.
I think that maybe she was like the lead guard, the one that initially bit it, defending him from the Holy Mothers, the Dark Ones. Yes,
is what they.
I think that he and the enchantress were both sort of deceived as to who Raven really was.
Well, the King's Guard needs to protect the king, no matter who the king is.
Right, just loyal to a fault, kind of loyal with a sense of blindness, so to speak. I was like, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do for you, irregardless of who you are.
And initially, he absolutely hates Granger. He's an outsider. I mean, what do you expect? The king is trying to tell you that no matter what this outsider says, you need to do that. And once again, it falls under that scenario where who you're going to follow. Somebody that you fear, or somebody who shows you the respect enough for you to follow them.
Right. And so I think that he got that respect. He got that respect after the first fight.
Yes.
So there was a fight that I would say that Granger got in. It was actually not Granger. There was a whole party of 18 people that were sent out to help Granger fight against the Holy Mother. And they were matched 18 for 18. Mm-hmm. So they had 18 warriors from the Holy Mother, the Dark Ones, that came and fought them person for person. And it was that clue that Granger picked up on that kind of got the respect from the captain there.
He was pushed up against a tree. The Dark One had the knife in hand and seemed confused as to why, do I kill him? No, I can't kill him. Why can't I kill him? Yeah, so he hesitates.
Right.
And at that moment, that's when he realizes he's like, why aren't you trying to kill me?
Right. And then so he knocks the guy. Did he knock him down or did he stab him?
Well, he throws him down to the ground.
And is questioning him as to why you won't kill me. And he said it would be an honor to die at the hands of the Chosen One.
But as this happens, the Kingsguard, I can't think of his name.
It says Allard.
Allard. So he comes over and stabs him. You know, they're just like no survivors. The king's order, no survivors.
This is the king's order. I'm going to kill these men because that's what the king ordered me to do.
Now, as a military man from the future, you know, he is very upset. Granger's very upset because he's like, this was our information. This is how we found out the truth. This is how we get into her castle.
So we did one little side note. We did pick up that this particular movie was very whitewashed. So there was one black guy in the entire movie, and then the rest of the movie was completely whitewashed.
As opposed to In the Name of the King, that had a lot very...
Well, it was various. It wasn't just white,
cast.
Black, Asian. You know, those Latino represented in there.
Yeah, there was everything.
Everything.
And then you come on to this one, and it's purely white, except for Soldier Number 3.
Oh yeah, Soldier Number 3. That's what they have him listed as. Just this one guy that pops up near the end of the movie, just behind the king.
You know, and what really was getting to me with this particular movie is I didn't really see any connections between the two, except for that one brief little plot that they throw in.
That they tried to loosely tie them together, and it wasn't even like a solid point they made.
But, you know, friggin' Commander Talon. You know what I mean? There was no references to him. There was no references to the mighty battles beforehand. There was no references...
To the Krug. The Krug were nowhere to be seen.
Right. What? They just picked up their stuff and then disappeared?
Not even half-assed mentioned. Because these things were they were still there. They didn't die at the end of the movie.
This is a generation behind. This is one generation behind the first movie. And everything is different. And there was a dragon.
Right, the dragon. That was the catalyst is what they were calling it. The catalyst is what he had to hunt in the forest to find the catalyst to peace. And that was the dragon, which fought on their side in this movie. I say in this movie because we'll get to why I said that in a minute. But so this dragon fights on his side, and there's this whole scene at the end, I guess, with there's Granger, and there is what is her name? The young lady that he is with the entire time. Is it Manhattan?
Yes, I believe Manhattan. Manhattan was the doctor.
The doctor. So this is the it was either Manhattan or it was
they don't
Ileana.
Name.
Ileana.
Heather Dorson.
No, Heather is the is Dunyana. Dunyana's the warrior at the end. That's the Holy Mother's daughter.
That's.
I'm talking about the doctor. Was that Ileana or was that Manhattan?
Oof.
Wow, that's a tough one. Why? Well, I'm having trouble coming up with that information.
Stay tuned.
It's Ileana.
All right, so Ileana is the.
And hell, it's. Anyway, so that being beside the point, besides the fact that I'm confused and sober this time,
I am the one that is.
Oh no! Today. Hold on a moment. My mistake. It is Manhattan.
Manhattan is the doctor.
Okay, so I made a couple of mistakes here. I'm going back and forth with my mistakes here. So the doctor that's basically with him the entire movie. The king insists upon her going with him to heal his wounds, so to speak.
And if she were to get captured, initially she would have to poison herself.
All right, so that we have that vial of poison that we're talking about. Now that vial of poison, unbeknownst to everybody, even her, that vial of poison that she's supposed to take if she gets captured, that's the plague.
Yes, which would spread amongst the Dark One.
So it's going to take out her. It's going to take out everybody that's around her, and it's going to spread farther because you heard what the plague did.
Yeah.
But apparently, that particular plague, if you douse it in water, it kills.
Well, it separates all the ingredients, so they're no longer interacting with each other.
So why can't a person just
drown
drink?
Die in it?
Just drink some water. I got the plague. Glug glug glug.
Because same reason for the ending when he breaks it in his mouth, even though he's drowning him.
Right.
Once you're infected, you're infected.
It looked like it infected him quick.
Well, it was in his mouth. He was bleeding. he broke the glass in his mouth, so the chemicals went right into his bloodstream.
Right. So he escapes. Raven escapes to
Future world.
Yes.
I don't know.
The current times, and Granger goes right after him, and that's where his bathtub comes into place, and he fights with Granger fights with Raven, puts that vial of poison in his mouth, and dunks him and crushes it in his mouth, and you see his face, his eyes go white, and the blood vessels look like they just explode in his face, or just.
What was kind of getting to me is, how is this guy going to explain the 8 dead bodies in his house?
Right. I mean, because these things don't just disappear, go back to medieval times. They're just all over his floor. There's blood everywhere. And didn't he sit down and have a drink afterwards?
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
that was the end of the movie.
You drink yourself. These 3 movies ended very oddly.
You have a drink before you go in the backyard and dig the ditches, I guess.
Well, still, somebody's going to see it. Why is this guy digging 8 bodies worth of dead people? Holes in his backyard. And then he's going to fill it in.
I feel like they missed out on the part where he gets committed to an asylum after this. Because if he had to explain it to anybody, anybody finds the bodies,
they're going to see people dressed in medieval clothing.
Right.
Even if you try to carbon date something from the past that was brought to the future.
Why did you kill this entire LARPing group? What's
right,
going on
exactly.
There?
You know what I mean? Like, even if you try to see how old that is, they're like, you can't, because it's aged the same way. Like, all it did was age from when they had it to when you killed them. That's it. It didn't age through that 100-year void.
Right. There's no carbon dating there.
So
I mean, on a genetic level, they may be slightly different, a little less evolved. So I guess if you went down to a genetic level, maybe you might find something, but even still.
But even so, why'd you kill these underdeveloped human beings? Like, there could be a few running around.
My God, Granger, it was just a game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Right, you shouldn't have taken that pain medication with that drink.
I've been drinking, and there was this medication, and then I just killed these people in robes, and there's one that, I think he's the king. He's the king. We call him the Raven. Nevermore, nevermore.
And it just, I drowned him in his pool. I drowned him in my bathtub.
Leave him in there a little longer. I'm not sure the virus is gone yet.
What virus? And there's no virus because it's been killed out.
Right. Well, it killed him, obviously.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that everything inside him is dead. Don't burn the body there. You don't want that to escape. You just bury his ass.
Right.
You burn all the other bodies. So, leaving that one behind, we're gonna go on and talk to. Not talk to. We're not going. We'll talk to the Blu-ray that we just watched, and of course it's not going to answer us. It's a Blu-ray, but we'll talk about the 3rd installment. And then, what did you think about Part 3?
Where does this come into play with any of the other ones? The only similar thing that they have to do with this one is the dragon, because they were similar dragoness features. They didn't have the 4 legs and wings. They had the 2 hind legs and the 2 wings that also acted as legs, which I do like in a dragon form. But that's it. There is nothing. There is zero, zilch, nada. They're in Bulgaria in the second one. I mean, the third one.
Right, in the third one.
So how is it that you came from, clearly England / part of America, because for the first one, to England, in the second one they had better with the accents.
Right.
To Bulgaria.
Which is all accents except for the lead guy.
No, he still has a little bit of an accent. Dominic Purcell?
Dominic Purcell, he doesn't really have an accent. There's no accent there, but he rarely talks either. There's not a lot of talking done by him. He's a strong silent type. I feel, personally, about this particular movie, there wasn't supposed to be a third one. But the director, his name is, I'm going to butcher his name, it's Uwe Boll. I feel he got $60 million for the first movie. And I feel that he didn't spend all of that money on the first movie and said, you know what I'm going to do? I got 2 more movies I want to make. And this third movie was like the leftovers. It's like, I got a few more dollars. Let's do something in somebody's backyard in Bulgaria.
So, the beginning part of it, okay, I did kind of like. You have a guy. He's clearly an assassin of some sort.
Right.
And he's walking through, and they show him kill someone. And he meets up with the bad guys, because that's what we're gonna call them.
We'll call them the bad guys.
He meets up with the bad guys, and he says, they go give him another job, and he's like, "No, we're done."
I mean, they're essentially terrorists. They're asking him to kidnap the daughters of the a royal family
of some sort of royalty in Bulgaria.
So yeah, keep going.
so essentially, he's like, "No, I said after this next one, I'm done." And he's like, No. After this one, you're done. $2 million is yours after this, and you'll never hear from us again. You do this job, go to this place, and you'll get your money.
Right, and like the lead bad guy, he played two different roles. So
yes.
he played the leader of that group that was trying to kidnap the kids from the royal family. He also played the king in this movie, the other bad guy.
Yeah. So essentially, he kidnaps these little girls, who are kind of badass. For little girls, they're kind of badass. One of them's like, "You don't understand? Like, you don't understand who my father is? You're gonna die."
Well, no, one's badass. The other one's just like
the kindest soul ever.
Just hugs him out of nowhere. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "My mom always said if somebody looks sad, you're supposed to hug them. Hug the guy that kidnapped you and just shove him in a box."
But in all reality, like, even his facial expressions through the beginning is, "I don't want to do this," because he didn't want to do it.
Well, I think they explained throughout the movie that his wife died because of what he does. And I think at that point, in his career, when this whole thing happened, I think everything he does, he's now doing with a sense of regret. Because this thing that he does, which he wants out of, killed his wife.
He owed someone money, and that's why they killed his wife.
Right.
And I believe he's working for the people who killed his wife to pay off his debt so that he can survive.
Which goes back to that thing, do you follow the person you fear or do you follow the person you respect?
And
he was following the person he feared, but he became a person that other people followed because they respected him.
Mm-hmm. And he saw his worth in the end. You know, like, he became who he was supposed to be through this ordeal.
Right.
And when he kidnaps the girls, he notices one of them has a necklace. And he's like, "Let me see that."
I called that. That one I called. The necklace, I'm like, the tattoo on his wrist, his forearm, matches up exactly. I'm like, he's going to grab that thing from her. Mm-hmm. He grabbed the thing from her, and I'm like, that's going to transport him. That's what's going to happen. That's where the time travel aspect comes in.
Yeah. So he takes it and he matches it to the tattoo on his arm. And that activates the amulet itself, which transports him back to the past. And he brought his gun with him this time.
That didn't last very long.
And completely wasted all the bullets immediately.
Completely wasted all the bullets shooting the dragon. That's how they tied the two movies together.
The third
dragon from the second movie.
Like, bang, bang, bang. This dragon is completely unfazed. Let me shoot it 8 more times.
But there is no physical reason at all that this dragon should be in medieval Bulgaria, considering where the hell it was in the first movie.
If they're even the same dragon, they were different facial features.
That's how they tied it together. This is the son of the other dragon.
Yeah, you know, maybe this is like a few generations apart, maybe, and the dragon itself was the catalyst for peace until this guy got a hold of the amulet, where he was able to control the dragon for war.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Okay.
You know, maybe, but even so, there was no.
It was all sloppy.
And there was no amulet in the second one to control the dragon. The dragon just gave them an advantage by mistake, essentially.
Right.
It's like I could give you your destiny, or I cannot give you your destiny, and you can accidentally do the thing that you're supposed to do anyways.
Right.
You know, just because you were told to. The Matrix said it the best. She's like, what you're really get a kick out is, would you have knocked the vase over if I didn't tell you about it?
Right.
You know, so
was it your destiny if you didn't know it was your destiny?
Right. Or is it your destiny because it's just your destiny?
Right. Okay. No, I'll give you that one. So philosophical weirdnesses aside, really the biggest problem I'm going to have with the entire movie is this third movie. There is nothing other than the vague link between the two dragons from the movies and the fact that they're basically time-traveling movies, just for different reasons, there's nothing that ties this particular movie into anything that happened in the other two.
Anything at all.
So you're left with a movie to finish the series, finish the trilogy, that sort of stands alone as a separate story and probably would have been better as like maybe a 2-part miniseries on TV.
Something.
Maybe like a sci-fi miniseries. Maybe this was something that was released on Sci-Fi.
Even so, whether it was or wasn't, I mean, there was nothing that brought them together. Not a single thing brought them together.
So, I don't think that we could really rate it in comparison to the other movies. Because literally, outside of the fact that it's called In the Name of the King 3, you know, and its little tagline, the last job. Other than that part...
The last job...
That was very on the nose.
The last job, the hand job.
Oh, God, no. Nope, not watching Dominic Purcell do that.
He got one. Pretty sure he got a handy from the princess. They made out a little bit by the river, I'm sure.
There was making out. There was nothing to that nature.
Please.
They left that all to your imagination. There was no nudity. I don't think there was really much of anything in the way of nudity throughout all 3 films.
The closest there was in the first film. At one point, forgetting her name, but Merrick's daughter.
Lily Sobieski?
Yeah, she was like braless.
That was the closest, but I mean, she was still clothed.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that I might rate the movies a little higher. That nudity is my main catalyst for rating a movie higher, but it would have distracted from some of the garbage that went on throughout these movies. A little bit of distraction. If you know that your movie is going to be bad. Now,
throw a titty or two out there, like Jesus. Like...
This particular director is known for doing bad movies. He did the House of the Dead flop. He did Alone in the Dark, and there's another one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain, yes. He got to reuse Christina Loken. She was in the Dungeon Siege, so she was the main wood nymph. I didn't get their names, so we're just gonna call them wood nymphs.
Wood nymphs.
Or Georgettes of the jungle. They all come swinging in very slowly on these vines.
No, not slowly, gracefully.
It wasn't gracefully. They were swung in because somebody, I guarantee you, it was a helicopter that they cut the sound out of, and the helicopter just went, he's taking them all on a little thing, a little ride through the jungle. I don't think they were CGI'd in or anything.
No, but with this one, you know, so he ends up going there, and he's with the rebels.
Okay.
He meets the 2 princesses.
I think the 2 princesses find him first, right?
Yeah,
they bring him to the rebels.
And they...
No. My apologies. When he first lands there, the dragon is attacking the village where the princesses are, and he ends up hiding in their hut.
Yeah. Come here, kind sir. Come here with your magic handheld device how do they describe it?
He calls it gun.
He calls it gun.
That was good.
It's out of bullets. Well, let's make more bullets.
I can't do that here.
Like, do you know how to make gunpowder? Because I don't.
Do you know how to make casings? You have all the stuff for that?
He just reuses old casings. You know what I mean? It'd be a relatively simple thing for it to happen if you knew how to make gunpowder.
Right. I'm not sure that was really... I don't think that was like really at the top of the list for things to learn during mercenary school. Can you make your own bullets in the field?
I don't even think he was a mercenary.
Well, that's actually how they explain his role. If you read the back of the box, the back of the Blu-ray, that's how they explain his role. He's a mercenary.
Well, I mean,
for hire, like a gun
soldier for hire is a mercenary. Yeah. So I guess, you know, but it's more like I have to repay this debt that I owe.
Right. One last job, $2 million. You know. Okay, well that's fine. You killed my wife, but let me do one more job for you. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think was the absolute worst part of this movie? The worst part.
For both movies.
Okay.
For all 3, it's the ending. Okay, in this particular one, he frees the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he drops the girls off to the father, who is just like, "Thank you, kind sir, for returning my daughters," as opposed to like, "Hey, bro."
I understand if you're going to press charges. No, I'm not going to do that. Thank you for bringing them back.
You know, I mean, yeah, the little girls came back happy and everything, but even so, you just kidnapped my children.
Right, and he doesn't know the circumstances of everything in between.
Yeah, he doesn't know that he killed the people who hired him, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't, I had a change of heart. No, he knows none of that. Then he walks off in the sunset, and the dragon is still there. The dragon is flying around
The dragon
Bulgaria.
escaped in the present time.
Yeah.
Whose only thing that he did outside of chasing him, he was trying. The thing was trying to chase him and kill him the entire time. Then for some reason, just decided to switch sides all of a sudden.
He was like, "All right, you're okay. Let me just kill this woman."
This woman, yeah, the woman that's trying to kill you. We'll do that.
Which is the head bad guy's wife.
My thing, the thing that I personally hated about this movie. Now, I'll give you the endings to each movie. Horrendous. They didn't even really give you a solid ending. It was always just one little thing, then cut it off. And I'm going to cough. Bear with me a moment.
You're my wife.
I like to warn you beforehand. So
You're
that,
my wife. I love you.
You got your volume turned up. You're my wife. I love you. No. This particular movie, I think that, and I mentioned this to you while we were watching it, the fact that Dominic Purcell's character lands in medieval time, this guy who's always hand-to-hand combat or guns, and all of a sudden, just for no reason whatsoever, becomes a master swordsman.
He outbeats like most of the swordsmen that are there.
These people that are steeped in this for all of their lives, and this guy just gets dropped in the middle of the fray, and he's like, "Yep, I know how to swing this thing," And
well, in the second one, Granger, he's like, "Oh, I got a thing to bring up about that also." So in the second one, Granger, he's like, "I'll be okay with my knife," because he's an infantryman, like he was an army ranger. I'll be okay. You guys don't have guns? I'll be okay. That's not a knife. This is a knife type deal. Later on in that movie, he ends up, he fights with swords at the end.
Right.
And before they go into the Black Forest.
Oh my god, that favorite line in the entire movie.
Yes, that would have to be my favorite line in the second one. He goes,
looks the Holy Mother's daughter dead in the eye and says, what does he say?
He goes, looks the Holy Mother Holy Mother's daughter in the eye, and he goes, looks like size does matter in the Black Forest.
Right.
Like, wait a minute, like.
No, the line. You tripped that up a little bit. It was, I guess in the Black Forest, size does matter.
Right.
It really does matter. We're going to give you this much bigger sword. Yeah, well, he's a big guy. He should have been able to wield a sword like frickin' Conan.
Yeah.
Not this little thing.
Without even skill, just...
He should be hacking down trees, not just people, just trees in general.
Like the mountain in Game of Thrones. Like, he's a lot bigger than most of the people. And then you have Dominic Purcell, who's the master swordsman. Whether he had military training or not, pretty sure that they don't go through a whole extensive medieval sword technique.
Right. I mean, he might have learned fencing in Bulgaria. It's entirely possible, dependent upon...
He wasn't fighting as a fencer.
But he's not fighting with swords, not by any stretch of the imagination.
And he's on par. He kills the...
They didn't even give us the respect of a fucking Rocky montage to show how he learned how to fight.
Right, like him being completely terrible. There was a scene that he okay, so at the end of this one, towards the end of this one, when the dragon is chasing after them, he pulls his gun out.
Right.
And he stops the car, and he's like, drive. Right?
Yes.
Now, visibly, a dragon is attacking these two. And he's still holding the man at gunpoint, like, drive. Like, first of all, the guy knows. There's now a dragon. He knows
you don't have to hold a gun to his head. There's a dragon coming after you.
He's not kicking you out of the car. His main concern is life or death right now. And at the end, he gives him his shirt, too, which I respected. He was like, thanks for the shirt. He's like, no problem.
Near the end of the movie, by the way, the CGI for the dragon was just horrible.
No.
There was scenes where he was, like, flying through telephone pole wires. He was just flying through the wires like they weren't even there. Nothing affected. The thing just kind of phased through the wires, And he lands on the ground at one point, and Dominic is not even staring at the dragon. He's looking that way, like straight ahead, and the dragon's to his left.
If I don't look at it, it won't look at me. If I don't look at it, it won't look at me.
Like, well, if you're going to do CGI, at least make sure your dude is looking at what he's supposed to look at. Give him a point of reference so that when you're doing it up, you're doing it right. But I don't think they gave him a point of reference of a telephone pole that was in front of him, I think.
Stare at this. We're going to put it to the left of you. You know, and with the third one, I feel like if they extended it, if at any point in the second and the third one, if they showed that they went back, because in the second one he's the rightful heir, even though he passes it off to the Holy Mother's daughter, like, you are now the leader,
right?
You know, and then he's sitting at his desk and he's having his drink and he's like, you know, maybe I'll see. What did she say? Maybe I'll see you in my dreams tonight, or maybe like in the future. Maybe in the future. Like, he's like dead set. Like, I could get back there to this woman that I love.
Right.
The next one, he falls in love with this. Mind you, really scumbaggy move that he did over here.
He talked about his dead wife to hit on the girl.
He's like, yeah, this is what happened to my wife. You know, I walked in and my house was on fire and I found my wife tied to the bed, burnt alive.
And apparently this was a romantic line.
Yeah. You want to make out?
Feel bad for me now. My lips are ready.
So they make out. That's the hand job scene. Leave it to your imagination.
Well, mind you, you're also talking medieval times, so it may not have been quite as hard. Like, maybe they haven't heard a lot of these lines before. You know, these are being used now. My wife was once tied to the bed, burning alive. Want to come home with me? You know,
I am now smoothly single. What's going on?
We're not talking in enlightened times here. We're talking medieval.
Muscle and penis.
Muscle and penis. There you go. That works. And outside of the super cringy moment where he's at the riverside having a rather shitty moment with this girl, his whole thing, he's I think he was shoved together with this girl. That basically the other princess was constantly trying to find moments to leave him alone or send them off together to do things.
Yeah, earlier on in the movie, she makes a comment. He's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You'll understand when the time comes." like she's the perfect matchmaker.
Right. And in all honesty, you look at them, and the entire time she's got this look on her face, like you would be perfect for my sister, and you go this way. No, stay away from me. Go over there. You stay with him.
I like the shaman, and
she does. She was like on the hip of the shaman the entire movie.
So she kind of had a thing for him, but needless to say, where I was trying to go with this, before we got into muscles and penis, so at the end he has that scene where he's walking off and there's the dragon. And, it's not even in his mind to go back to this woman that he found a new love with. He's just like, the deed is done. And walks away. And it kind of seemed like they did have a connection in both these movies that if you kind of go on the first one, if it was Lord of the Rings heading towards love, you know what I mean? Like, the Lord of the Rings, a love story. And then you have the second one, and it's just like, all right, kind of a love story, and then you have the third one, which is love story, but he doesn't care.
Well, the entire movie, he really was, I don't care. But I feel like the ending itself would have been better served if when he came back to modern times, he still had a sword. If he was still brandishing the sword, so I feel like one of those little sheaths that they have on the back or whatever. And he's walking off into the sunset, and you see the dragon cross the skyline, and immediately he draws the sword and starts running into the distance.
Because he's going to go kill the dragon.
Right.
That clearly is bulletproof.
That would have been a better ending. It would have made it feel better. But
but I feel like if they did that, it would have made it seem like there could have been another movie.
Well, I mean, they're crappy movies. I mean, there could be another movie if you really wanted to make one, but it would have to be a sequel directly for Dominic Purcell.
Right.
So you got to tie it up to where they're like, you know what? I don't think we're going to get this guy back. We've gone from A-list actors to B-list actors to Z-list actors. Television actors.
And not Dominic Purcell being a Z-list actor. But
no, Dominic Purcell was not the Z-list. Everybody else who was unrecognizable in that movie.
There was one other person in the movie that was partially recognizable, and it's the bad guy.
But other than that, I mean, Dominic Purcell was obviously the most well-known person in the entire film.
Right. And, he has the one tattoo that now brandishes him as the savior of the world.
Right. I'm trying to get... There was a scene in the movie where he took off his shirt, and he just started... he was staring at the tattoos on himself.
The wounds from the dragon were already healed from the shaman.
Okay.
So it's essentially overnight. He was healed. So any wound that he sustained, the shaman put some sort of ointment on it, and it was gone.
And the shaman is like, in this particular movie, is like one of the few sources of magic in the entire movie. So they kind of downplayed the use of magic from the first movie, and then the second movie they downplayed it a little bit more.
And now it's just the amulet and the shaman.
Right.
And the shaman isn't even about magic.
And the magic is almost solely it was just a slight forward momentum. It gave it slight forward momentum. Other than that, that's the only explanation they had for him getting back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, there are less and less magical creatures because, okay, the first one was one generation.
Right.
The second movie is literally a generation after.
Right.
Because his father died, this guy has been king for a few years, and this guy is fully grown, and he is Farmer's son.
And I'm assuming they're trying to explain as they're going along, and not fully explain, but just sort of as background, how there's no more magic left in the world. So there's no magic right now, but they're explaining it just kind of slowly disappeared over time.
And I guess that's kind of, there was magic, so there was a constant struggle for power in the first one.
Right.
Less magic in the second one, where the Enchantress dies, the Lord Mother dies, and the Seer die. And now there's alchemy. And then there's one last piece of magic that's left in Bulgaria.
Yes, so the healing magic. And, of course, the amulet. We're going to write that up there with some of the other movies that we have that have an amulet as the central feature, like Double Dragon. Or,
the medallion.
The medallion. I believe, doesn't even Bulletproof Monk have like a medallion of sorts?
It's a scroll.
A scroll. Scroll, yes, okay.
There's always something of power.
Something.
I do want to say, though, when we do get into that, the medallion type thing, I want to do, little Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan's worst movies. So keep an eye out for that, because I feel like that's a good segment that we'll do. If you guys want that, shoot us, follow us on Facebook once again, Cinematic Anarchy.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are trying to get up on YouTube, but in all honesty, the areas that we record, if you could see where we are right now, it is literally a pile. There's clothes over there. There's painting stuff over there. I have
the Ultimate Art Studio.
I have a fantastic turntable that I bought my daughter one Christmas, which is now completely buried in stuffed animals. Yeah, this is where I'm recording. We. I say I. We. If I say I, you got to kick me for that. It's not an I effort. It's a we effort here.
So, but back to these terrible movies.
Back to the question at hand.
Once again, Chris, big fan of the second one compared to the first.
You're compared to the first?
Yeah, you like the second one better than the first?
Are you talking the second compared to the third?
So no. So here's what I gotta ask. Out of these three movies.
Okay. Out of the three movies, I would say, yeah, I'm more of a fan of the second one than the third one for two reasons. One, it was a shorter movie. That's when you're talking about the length of the movie, like it was a shorter movie. This other movie was almost 3 hours long, and I felt I did not get to see the original version that you did. The one that you said, well, now that I've seen the director's cut, a lot of stuff fall together a little bit better.
A few things, nothing crazy. It's still a long movie. I think they cut out some running.
Well, they cut out. I think you said like about 12 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
at best. And the other reason I feel this movie was a little bit better is just because of the fact that I did not feel like anybody was uncomfortable in their role. Like, there were a lot of clashing things going on in the first movie. There were so many people that did fantastic in their roles, but just did not seem to fit in the scene.
Mm.
Like, if they had other people that acted well against them, there was no chemistry between the actors. Here, I felt like in the second movie, there was a lot more chemistry between the people that were doing their roles.
Yeah, because it wasn't all A-named actors.
Oh, we have the dog alarm going off over here. I guess beckoning us. So you want to let the dog in?
I suppose so.
Yes, we have the dog alarm going off. Who likes to advise us that there's a lot of shit going on that we don't know about? I don't know if that's a dog outside, a dog inside, but she gets a little testy. So that's Miss Sugar. I love my dog to death, but she is a loudmouth.
So, you know, when it really... So, it's just... I like the first one better than the other two.
Well, and that's because, like you said, you grew up watching that. You're a bit younger than me.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things you watched as a young teen, you know?
Yeah, but even so, it's like there was more battles. Yes, it was longer, so they could fit more in there. There was more battles. You didn't like some of the battle scenes because, you know, why are they tossing... The Krug are mindless. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do to them does not matter. That's why they're shooting them out of catapults.
Right. It wasn't so much talking about the Krug being mindless in the first one. It was the fact that the physics of a lot of those scenes just didn't work. It did
2 scenes.
One,
the Krug got slingshotted,
right.
So he went in a straight line through the opposing team, and then you had Jason Statham.
He went in a straight line for the length of like 2 football fields.
Hey, listen, the Krug are strong. And then you have maybe it was
and
downhill.
Apparently pretty lightweight.
Maybe
too.
It was downhill.
Dude floated like a
physics.
kite.
Maybe it was downhill. And then we have the Jason Statham when he ran over top of the Krug. Those are the only 2 places that the physics weren't really there. That's it. You can't hate on the battle scenes other than those 2 points. Everything else, it was legit battles. I mean, you had Game of Thrones, who had the largest cinematic battle, largest battle in cinematic history, and this was more action than that.
Well, there was also the boomerang. The boomerang that took out like 10 guys.
That one was made out of metal.
It was not made out of metal. It was
that one was. It stuck in the tree. He had a wooden one as a farmer.
Where did he get the metal one?
Out of the armory. He's now
random Australian armory with metal boomerangs?
Yeah, you could have talked to the blacksmith for a moment. Like, hey, check it out. I got 2 weapons. There's one sword that I'm never letting go of this whole movie.
Okay.
Or the boomerang that I need you to make me. What's a boomerang? This right here. Clink, 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 clink. It's like you know, kind of like an angle, like a 160-degree angle.
But you know as well as I do, if all that thing has to do is hit one person. And the first person is out. It's not going over 10 people.
Slit your throat.
No.
Okay.
No.
3 things. And then you have this one here.
You got Burt Reynolds uncomfortable in his armor.
Of course. This shit itched.
And my theory right now is still, because we had time traveling in the other 2 movies, I really feel that Burt Reynolds is a transplant from another time that ended up king.
Which, you know what, maybe, but they didn't put anywhere else.
It's my speculation, my little theory.
There's nothing in the movie that tied them together, which got me so, you know, you could have done, from the director who brought you In the Name of the King. Here's this story, or from the director who brought you, the 2 Worlds was the second one. Could have called it 2 Worlds.
Right. You know what? Each movie had their own cringy little moment where somebody was hitting on somebody inappropriately. You know, you had that first movie with the brother who's hitting on the girl in chains, using his dead parents as a line. Mm-hmm. And then you had the second movie where
that one had a couple.
That second movie where he looked where Granger looked the Holy Mother's daughter right in the eye and said, I guess in the Black Forest, bigger really, size really does matter, you know.
You know, so they have that, but also you have the Doctor, who is just like, If I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna die without experience in sex. And then she just jumps on Granger.
Oh, I'm not gonna die unfulfilled.
Unfulfilled. And she jumps on Granger.
Were you fulfilled?
Yeah, what a woman thing to say.
She's like, I don't know. Maybe. Could have been.
She definitely was. She would have died for that man. And
Well, by the end of the movie, maybe.
No, right after the sex. And then you have the... you're like, I need to go with him. You know what I mean? No, you don't.
Right? No, okay.
They split up right after that. You just wanted to go down the hill with him. That's it. You know?
That's about it.
Wanted to roll around a little bit longer with him. And then you have movie number 3. Where...
He uses his dead wife as a line.
Yeah. So dead parents... dead parents... Whatever the second one was, big dick. I need to be fulfilled. There's a couple of sexual innuendos there, and then, hey, my wife was burnt to death.
Now, do you know what my favorite part of the first? You know what my favorite part of the first movie is? Bad mouthing it, so you get up in arms about it.
What's up? What's up? I'm half a 40 deep now. You want to argue? We'll argue. Go. What do you got? What's your least favorite? What's another least favorite thing about the first one?
My least favorite thing about the first one, I still hold to the Ray Liotta role. There are so many actors out there. I like Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta is a fantastic actor, but there is so many actors out there that could have brought so much more power to that role that having him there, I just feel like they could not afford a better actor, maybe. I mean, I don't want to say better actor because he's a great actor. But, like, somebody that would fit that role better.
I mean, you said that, Merrick would have played, the guy who played Merrick would have...
Jonathan Rhys Davies.
Yeah, he would have played a better one, just because, he had a more powerful voice. But you also need to think that who do you think Davies over there is seducing?
No, he's not.
You know what I mean?
But, I mean, you got to get a guy that's equally as good looking. Like, I can't remember his name right now. He's the dude from... Actually, if I'm not mistaken, he's currently Charles Xavier, and then Split.
James McAvoy.
Right. He would have been perfect. He would have been perfect for that role. Jeremy Renner.
This was before his time.
The problem is that the reason I think they went with Ray Liotta, you have to have a guy that, age-wise, is almost the same as Jonathan Rhys Davies. So there's that creepy factor where you have somebody like a father figure who's hitting on the younger girl. So, I mean, maybe they could have done, like, a Liam Neeson thing?
No.
You don't think Liam Neeson would have fit into that?
Not at all. No. Absolutely not. Liam Neeson,
okay.
Liam Neeson would play a better farmer. Like, my wife! I need to go save my wife.
Yeah, but he couldn't have done those kick-ass martial arts moves in that film. He's a little over the hill for that.
2006, was he over the hill?
Yeah, he was up there. Wasn't that around the time he was doing Taken?
I think it was a little
later.
Bit higher. We can always figure that one out.
Google that, yeah. But
okay,
here we go. Come up with a couple of actors you think could have replaced Ray Liotta, could have done a better job. Because that was really I think the X factor in the entire movie for me. I think that role, Ray Liotta looked so misplaced in that role that if they had replaced him with a better actor, somebody that just had more
Lawrence
Fishburne. That's actually interesting.
I feel like he can play the manipulator. We need more like physically, a little bit more physically fit, so we'd have to do a little bit of training. You know what I mean? But it would have. Okay, so compare Lawrence Fishburne to whatever Davies. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They're around the similar age. Okay, one's white, one's black. Okay, so now you have more towards the contrast of good and evil. Not that black is evil, but you know what I mean? They'd be opposites. You have Davies, who's a strong, worded person, and then you have Lawrence Fishburne, who can't, the way that he speaks in any movie that he speaks in, he's very, very calm, kind, sweet, manipulative. You know what I mean? Like, it can be taken as any one of those.
So here's the guy that I think could have done that role. Now, this is an early movie. This is 2006, right? Mm-hmm. This was prior to Tim Curry having his stroke. Tim Curry could have played that role masterfully. Because Tim Curry, I think it looks like he had a stroke in 2013. I think he could have done that role with no problem because he's around the same age as Jonathan Rhys Davies.
He doesn't give that "I'm gonna sleep with your daughter" vibe out there though.
He could have. I mean, he could.
I'm gonna sleep with your son, maybe. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
He's like, oh, like, don't, yeah, I'll babysit your kids for you. He has that face. You know, and I don't get me wrong, I love you as an actor, but like you play like, you know, the seductive man who's gonna sully your bloodline. Not so much.
Anthony Head.
I don't know if I've heard Anthony.
Anthony Head. He played Giles in Buffy the Vampire TV show.
No, I know what you're talking about. It's been a while since I watched that. What, Anthony Head?
Anthony Head could have played that role quite well as well. And he's not as big a name as Ray Liotta is, but I think that performance-wise, I've seen him do some pretty intense performances.
Yeah, but even so, he seems a lot older.
He's a lot older, but he's also got that gentlemanly thing. Like, he could very easily have manipulated and lulled Lily, her character, Miriam, into a sense of comfort. So he could have played that role very well. I think the reason maybe they went with Ray Liotta is just those fucking eyes that he has. He has those crazy eyes that, like, just...
They're very intense.
Have you ever seen Turbulence?
Yeah.
Oh my God, like, some of the scenes, that was one of my favorite movies of his. It was also a bad movie, probably something we'll review in the future, but that movie was, like, he was just intense all the way through.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, I mean, if we're going for
listen, motherfucker.
Who the hell does not fit in this movie?
Yeah,
Sam Jackson.
In all reality, he would not have fit in it. But
no,
not for nothing. He's definitely top 10 actors for me.
Can't throw Shaft out there. No, we're good.
Trying to fuck. I mean, Shaft gets the bitches. You know what I mean? Like,
here you go. Here's a guy that, if you want to talk about people that wouldn't fit into the role, if you want to just put somebody in there that just would be so out of place, Scott Baio. Put Charles in Charge out there.
Well, if we could put Tom Brady as fucking Ray Liotta's character.
You just have to have somebody that...
No, nobody could hate Tom Brady that way. Nobody would hate Tom Brady.
Everybody that doesn't live in New England
would love it.
I'm just saying, everybody that does not live in New England.
Tom Brady the good guy? Like, what's going on? Why? So Jason Statham's the bad guy and Tom Brady's the good guy? Like,
you go anywhere that the Patriots aren't. Any other hometown, and they're shitting on Tom Brady all over the place.
Well, yeah, Tom Brady plays the bad guy.
Tom Brady's the devil.
His life.
So,
no, but yeah, okay. So with the third movie, though, you know, he ends up explaining to his new booty lover, booty call lady, whom they are short on weapons, but decides to carry around 2 swords the whole time. So she ends up she ends up like he explains to her, he's like, I'm not a good guy. And she goes, you know, like, you may not have, at first I didn't see you as a good guy, but now that I've heard some of your story, I see that you are a good guy, but you're lost.
Right.
You know, and, you know, before he goes back to the future, she's like, you need to save those 2 little girls. And he's
going back to the future.
You know, and even when he first sees the girls again,
right,
you could see that one great thing, that one of the best things that he played during this whole entire thing. I mean, you know, he was rough and tough. You know, eat caca, that's the stuff. You know, that's the bully model.
He played regretful very well.
But when it came to the end, you could see that he was finally at peace with himself. You know, he smiled.
He's at peace, but he still had a sense of remorse on his face.
Yeah, and you know, like, he was willing to accept any consequences that for his actions, which he wouldn't have done before.
Right.
Before, and at the beginning, he was just like, I just got to get the necklace and leave, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And then
he was very focused on himself at that point.
And nobody gave speeches like Farmer.
No. Well, it's Jason Statham. And that, I mean, saving grace of that whole movie. There was a couple of... You had Ray Liotta, which was the opposite. That was, like, what ruined that movie. And you have Jason Statham, who I felt was a saving grace almost all the way through.
I mean, he played that hard, rugged badass. Like, that's what he plays.
So I'm gonna give a rating. I said about a 6. It's about a 6.5. The first movie. I'm gonna give a 6.7 to the second movie because that's my favorite of the two. I'm gonna give about a 5.8 to the third movie because I really
out of the two. What do you mean? Like,
huh?
Out of the two other ones?
Like I said,
I
liked it just slightly better
than the first.
Slightly better than the first.
Get out. This is your house, but you leave. No, I'm sorry. The first one, and I said I wasn't going to be biased, and I'm not because I saw the other two movies. The first one still rings true to me. Then the second one, because like I said, they just dropped the ball on so many different aspects of it. I disliked it. The third one I liked a little better because I felt like it played as its own movie.
Okay, so give me your ratings.
9 out of 10.
For the first one. Second?
First one. No, in all reality, because there are a few spots, let me give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
And then for the second one, I would have to give that one a 4 out of 10.
4? Wow.
And then the third one, I'll bump that one up to a 5.5.
Oh, so you like the third one better than the second one?
I did like the third one better than the second because I felt like it played like its own story. There was no, they didn't try and throw in a quick little, this is why we're connected to the other ones. I wish they did have something.
Just the dragon.
If that's even the case.
We're going to go take a little quick break for sponsor identification, and we're going to be right back with the trivia portion of our evening, having thoroughly reviewed these two rather crappy movies.
We went from a 3-parter down to a 2-parter. And you're welcome.
Yeah, it just didn't garner a 3-parter. The two movies, I don't think we could have talked an hour for both of them.
Yeah, and I mean,
it just wouldn't have happened.
We could have. It just would have been long-winded.
very long-winded. We're trying not to put you guys to sleep here.
But the first one we could do it on its own podcast. It was 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 46 minutes with the director's cut.
Right, and we still talked about that one in here just to fill it out a little bit. All right, and on to the sponsor. All right, and if you survived through our sponsors, we are here to do our little trivia bit at the end where we kind of recite trivia back and forth to each other to see who knows the most.
Chris!
Hey, last week we were even.
No.
Last week we were even.
No.
I got just as many wrong as you did. I was passing on things left and right, and you actually got a few because I threw you a few softballs.
Yeah, whatever. Stop asking me 1960. You can ask me 1960 questions, and I probably know them.
You asked me one from 1930.
Yeah, and I knew it.
No. You asked me.
Yeah, but I knew the answer.
It's because you had it on the card.
Well, regardless, I know. The older movies I know more about. You asked me what happened in 1985, 5 years before you were born. I'm like, shit, I have no idea. When I asked me a question about My Fair Lady, I got you.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and let you start the questioning today.
Whose first 3 big screen movies were Mermaids, The Hard Way, and The Addams Family?
First 3 big movies? That would be Christina Ricci.
Sir, yes, sir.
That one I knew. All right.
He's
Let's see what we got here.
Mind you, I leave these cards here at his house because they're his.
Right.
No, but for all I know, he could be reading through these every day that I'm not here.
Right. I've got the time to study after I masturbate. Anyway. I'll let you pick. You want orange or yellow?
I don't care.
I'll go with orange. What song do Gene Wilder and Peter Boyle perform on stage in Young Frankenstein? Have you ever seen Young Frankenstein?
I have seen it, but I have no idea. I don't know the name of it.
Putting on the Ritz. I had to sing that.
I know. As soon as you said it, I knew the song. But what rock band performed the Oscar-nominated song "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" for the movie Armageddon?
That's a local band, man. Aerosmith. Okay. I didn't miss a thing. Okay. Name the legendary character who was played by John Cleese in 1981, Kevin Costner in 1991, and Carrie Ewells in 1993.
The legendary assassin?
No, what legendary character
played an assassin?
No, he... Okay.
All right, repeat
I'll read it
that
again. What legendary character was played by John Cleese in 1981?
So there was nothing about an assassin.
No, not at all. I don't know where you got assassin from.
Is he an assassin?
Kevin Costner in 1991 and Carrie Ewells in 1993.
Al Capone.
Definitely not. I don't think that Kevin Costner has ever played Al Capone, nor do I think John Cleese is Italian enough for that.
No,
You're waiting on me? Okay. The name of the character is Robin Hood. John Cleese played Robin Hood in Time Bandits. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, that was Kevin Costner, and then of course Robin Hood Men in Tights, Carrie Ewells.
See,
And I've seen all these movies. I think you probably saw the last two.
Yeah, but
I don't know if you've ever seen Time Bandits.
Not a very good name guy too. Like, so it's hard for me. When you sort of say these three names, I'm like,
John Cleese is the tall Brit from the Monty Python group.
now that you explained the character, I'm like, oh, okay. You know.
All right. Continue on.
What Ashton Kutcher comedy tagline was, "After a night they can't remember, comes the day they'll never forget."
Dude, where's my car?
Dude, where's my car?
Remember that? Dude.
What does my tattoo say? Dude, what does your tattoo
another
say?
one of my favorite Sean William Scott movies. Absolutely, one of the few movies that I watched back then I didn't feel like he was embodying Stifler. You know? But that was because he was embodying a dumbass. Okay, that was my turn. Okay, let's see. What movie has Harrison Ford declaring, "Replicants, like any other machine,
Blade Runner.
They're either a benefit or a hazard"?
1985.
I guess that's one of your favorites there.
Is that correct?
You're absolutely correct. Blade Runner, you are correct.
So, who was nominated for an Oscar both times he played Fast Eddie Felsen?
Fast Eddie what?
Felsen.
It wasn't Joe Pesci. No, who is that? I have no idea.
Paul freaking Newman.
Paul Newman. Did they say the two movies?
The Hustler and The Color of Money.
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize those were sequels.
I did not either.
Fair enough. Okay. Name the comedic actress who starred in Foul Play, Wildcats, and Death Becomes Her.
Drew Barrymore. No, I have no idea.
Well, she would be so much older right now if that were true.
When did these movies come out?
I want to say Foul Play was probably 70s, Wildcat early 80s, and Death Becomes Her was 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
No idea.
Death Becomes Her? You've never seen that?
Betty White.
The one with Bruce Willis? Okay. Anyway, Goldie Hawn. And if you've never seen Death Becomes Her, that is on our bad movies list.
All right.
Because that's Bruce Willis, Glenn Close, and Goldie Hawn. And to have those three people all in that movie at that time and to have it bomb as much as it did, it was a good movie. I liked it. Okay, continuing on.
Will Smith and Jon Voight were both nominated for Academy Awards for the 2001 Michael Mann sport biopic. So with Will Smith and Jon Voight were both nominated for Academy Awards for what 2001 Michael Mann sports biopic?
Michael Mann sports biopic 2001 Ali? So, I'm trying to think. There's not a lot of sports movies with Will Smith attached to it.
Yeah.
And he actually did a fantastic job in that movie. So that's a good one. Okay. What movie features a game of blackjack in which Danny DeVito repeatedly implores Jack Nicholson to hit me even though he has a pat hand? One of my favorite Jack Nicholson movies. And it was, I think, filmed right after The Shining, if I'm not mistaken.
No, drawing a blank.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay.
I know I was making a
hint, and you were like,
yeah, I know I was making like a hand movement there, but yeah, that's exactly what it is.
All right.
I don't even have to move on from this card. I got another good one.
What word precedes color, romance, and lies in the 3 movie titles?
True.
Sir?
True colors, true romance, and true lies. And mind you, True Romance was not all that great in the theaters, so we could definitely do that one as well. I'm talking about all these movies we could review and review and review.
Like I said, guys, if you listened to this point, definitely follow up with us on our Facebook, our Twitter. Give us ideas for movies you guys want us to review, and we'll give you a shout out, the whole nine.
And that's what we want. We want interactivity. If you go on Anchor, you can even leave us a voice message.
Yeah.
Anchor's fantastic for that. You go on Anchor, you look up our podcast, Cinematic Anarchy, and you can leave us a voice message, which we would love to put on our podcast. Anybody that wants to leave us a voice message.
And who was the you said that we had the one follower who's watched every single one of our episodes.
We actually have a couple, and I can bring her up momentarily. I know we're taking a little bit of a
little spin off of this trivia here, but we'll get right back to that. That's not an issue. I mean, we appreciate the support. The more listeners that we have, the more bullshit that I can have come out of my mouth.
So, starting yesterday with episode number 13. Okay, so she didn't listen to number 14 yet, the one that was just released, and she listened from 13 on back to episode 4 in 2 days' time, and that young lady's name is Lana. Lana, if you're listening to us, thank you for consuming as many episodes as you have of ours, and I kind of understand why you dropped off around episode 1, 2, 3. We are still getting our act together to this day, but back then we were even more disheveled.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you taking the time. I mean, that's several hours worth of episodes there. That's probably, an hour and a half a piece.
As long as you didn't fall asleep.
Well, hell, even if you fell asleep, you played them. We're happy. You can dream of us as these things play in your ears. But thank you. Shout out to Lana. And we will go ahead and do that. We listen to, or we look through our podcast listeners and occasionally give a shout out to somebody that's really gone the extra mile and listened to us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, eventually we'll give a shout out to all our subscribers because we love you. Tell your friends, your family, your mother.
It looks like we had another young lady. Her name is Carrie Ann. She's listened episodes 13 to 5. So that's, I'm going backwards here, but that was the order of listening. Started with 13, listened backwards. I don't know why you do that, but, you don't have to listen to these in order. There's no, this is not an episodic television show.
The only ones you really do is how, that last week we did In the Name of the King 1. The following week we did 2 and 3. And we did Hobgoblins 1 and 2. I mean, that was one episode, but, when we do parters, I feel like there's a few that we'll do.
And there'll be a couple of, 1-2 parters in the future. Like we plan on doing an entire month dedicated to Frank Henenlotter, one of my favorite directors, and I have loaned a Blu-ray to Zeph, which I have not gotten back to this day because he is still intent upon watching the movie, just doesn't have the time.
But he also has not asked for it.
I've asked for it a couple of... Well, I've not asked for it. I've inquired as to whether or not you've watched the movie. I haven't really asked for it back.
It is safe.
Safe.
Okay, let's get back to some trivia.
Okay.
And let's not talk about my bad habits.
So, next question I got for you here. In The Empire Strikes Back, what is the name of the swampy planet where Luke meets Yoda for the first time?
Dagobah.
Dagobah. There you go.
Dagobah. Ben. Dagobah system. Ben.
All right, we're done now. Moving on, please.
What actor won an Oscar for teaching Kevin Costner the Chicago way to get Capone in The Untouchables?
Oh, God, I do not remember his name.
You know his name.
God damn it.
If you don't know his name, you're thinking of somebody different.
No, the name's not rolling off.
Sean Connery.
Jesus. Yep, I am thinking of somebody different. I was picturing somebody completely different in my head. Mousy guy with glasses and a fedora. Definitely not him. All right. In what 1992? Oh, in 1992, the last 2 Woody Allen movies to co-star Mia Farrow were released. Name one of them. You can name either one. And if you can name either of these, you're brilliant.
Be able to.
That's...
Name one, and I'll see if I can name the other.
No, we don't have to name those. I'll name them. I'll give them to you.
Give us the answer, Chris.
One is Shadows and Fog, and the other one is Husbands and Wives. And I'll be honest with you, I did not know the answer to that question, so I'm going to give you a different one because that was unfair.
Boo.
John Travolta is a mobster, Gene Hackman is a Hollywood producer, and Danny DeVito is a diminutive movie star in what 1995 killer comedy?
Fuck. He's his therapist. The fucking.
I'd like to hear you strain for the answer here.
But I'm correct, right? He's his therapist. Fuck. Just tell me, because.
Get Shorty.
No, so I'm wrong. I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the Robert De Niro, Billy Crystal thing.
Yeah.
Analyze this.
Yes.
Now, Get Shorty, very different movie.
See, I have not seen that one, but...
And there was a sequel to Get Shorty, and I'm trying to remember the name to it.
Shorty Gets Back.
Be Cool is the sequel, and that was one of my favorite Dwayne The Rock Johnson roles. Because Dwayne The Rock Johnson plays a gay bodyguard who fantasizes of a life as a country singer. And they actually have a whole music video of him with curly hair, wearing a cowboy hat and dancing around in cowboy boots with a guitar singing.
How many times have you masturbated to that one, Chris?
Just the once.
Okay.
No. Anyway.
What 80s teen comedy suggested in the tagline... Forgive me. What 80s teen comedy suggested in its tagline, if you can't get a date, make one?
That would be Weird Science. Weird Science. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Next. Where did the Griswolds go in the fourth Vacation movie? So you had the first one, which was, I think, Wally World is where they went. The second one was the European Vacation. Third one was Christmas Vacation. And then the last one was what vacation?
San Antonio.
No.
Texas.
But actually kind of close.
Texas?
No, not close as in state, but closer. You're in around the right area. Think hot. Think slot machines.
Vegas?
Yeah, there you go.
I was going to say Vegas, but I was like, nah, way too easy for me to say Vegas.
You got to go with your gut. If you just go with your gut. Say it.
Say it with your chest.
I got more gut than you do. Don't look down. Okay.
What highly regarded movie features a library renovation, a Bible used as a hiding place, and a large hole in the wall?
Okay, repeat that.
What highly regarded movie features a library renovation, a Bible used as a hiding place, and a large hole in the wall?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Once I say it, damn, man.
The Da Vinci Code.
No, Shawshank Redemption.
Shit, Shawshank Redemption. Fuck me, I should have known that. That one was too easy and too hard at the same time.
Yeah, like the one you just shot at me, you know?
What 2005 biography has a tagline that states, "Love is a burning thing"?
Repeat the question.
What 2005 biography has a tagline that states, "Love is a burning thing"? And if you know anything about that song and who sang it, you know what movie I'm talking about.
Biography in 2005.
Starring Joaquin Phoenix, Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, fucking Ray Charles. I don't know.
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line.
Never seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. There's some classics that you haven't even seen.
Some I refuse.
We have got to just we got to like just get together one weekend and just binge watch a bunch of really good shit. Just get a bunch of good movies together and just sit there and drink and binge watch, and then I don't know who's driving you home after that, but move on. Anyway.
This particular drink is brought to you by Uber.
Or not brought to me, but that's what's bringing you home anyway.
They brought
Uber's
me
not bringing me my booze yet. Hey, you give me the Uber liquor store. That's what I want. Forget all this Uber Eats shit where you're bringing me McDonald's. Uber me my fucking liquor. So I don't have to go out to get it.
Shh. Listening. I think that was a gold mine right there.
Ah, damn it.
Need a liquor license, though. Name the theme song, Simple-Minded Performers for the... name the theme song, Simple Minds performed for the Breakfast Club.
It's like, don't you forget about me?
Don't you forget about me.
I'm just seeing that fist pumping scene with John Bender at the end. You know, underrated fucking actor. Honestly. Whose name I'm trying to remember. What is his name? Judd Nelson. Judd Nelson. There we go. I was thinking Judd Hirsch. That's not who that is. All right. John Cusack owns a record store. Black Jack works for him, and Bruce Springsteen gives him advice. Name the movie.
Owns a what store? A record store?
John Cusack owns a record store. Jack Black works for him, and Bruce Springsteen gives him advice. Name the movie.
Tenacious D?
Much earlier.
School of Rock?
Much earlier.
No idea.
High Fidelity.
Nope.
Telling you, we got to sit down and watch some damn movies. Jesus Christ.
I watched plenty of movies.
Sorry to the religious folks for blasphemizing. Then, at the same time, I'm agnostic, so not quite sorry.
Delete it. Delete this whole segment because you said it.
Delete.
Fuck it.
Right? We've said so many worse things here. Yes.
If it's a wet crease, I got you. Throwback.
Throwback to the Killer Clowns.
Now, name the movie in which a scientist states, but if the Pirates of the Caribbean break down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. So name the movie in which a scientist states, but if the Pirates of the Caribbean break down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
That's an interesting line, and I really don't know that one. Name the movie, because I don't know.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, maybe I need to rewatch that. Because I don't remember that line.
He says something, you know what I mean? Like it's just like Disney World, and he's like, yeah, but if the Pirates of the Caribbean break down, the
pirates don't.
They don't eat the tourists, as opposed to the dinosaurs, which will
definitely. In what 2002 Matt Damon movie had a tagline that stated he was the perfect weapon until he became the target?
The Bourne Identity.
Bing, 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 bing. You got it. Next.
Next.
It's your turn.
I dropped these at one point. So like I'm like shit.
Well, you're most of the way through the 40 now. I'm thinking that's probably why you're dropping the cards.
You're dropping the 40.
I didn't drop anything. No alcohol abuse.
You're an adult. You're not my supervisor.
Okay.
What was the subtitle of the 2000? What was the subtitle of the 2004 dodgeball? 2004 hit dodgeball.
An underdog story.
Mm-hmm.
I think was that what that was. Okay, wow. I took a fucking guess at that one too.
A true underdog.
A true under. Oh, see, I was close. I forgot the word true.
True.
That goes along with romance. True story. What is the name of the fraternity that Lewis and Gilbert belonged to in Revenge of the Nerds?
Veda Kappa?
Nope. It's repetitive.
Gamma?
Nope. Tell me when you're done.
I'm done.
Lambda.
Oh, yeah, no.
You don't remember that?
No.
No.
I haven't seen that since middle school. That's because they had us watch it in middle school.
Okay.
What 2003 comedy... Matter of fact, I didn't do this one already.
Okay.
What 2003 comedy tagline was all the fun of the college, none of the education?
All the fun of college, but none of the education? Van Wilder? No.
Will Ferrell's in it?
Really? Superstar? No, not Superstar. What the fuck? Okay.
Their street gets taken over by fraternities.
Huh?
Yeah, the street,
Neighbors? No. What? Okay, no, go ahead. I don't know.
Old School.
Oh my God.
The street gets taken over by fraternity.
I haven't watched that movie in I don't know how long, honestly, and I wouldn't have gotten
they
that.
would have either had to sell the apartment or start their own fraternity, which they ended up doing.
Okay, yeah, no, I had no idea. Seriously. Name the 1997 release that was a comedy about a hitman, a high school reunion, and the girl he left behind.
What year?
1997.
Okay.
Stars John Cusack and his sister.
So a hitman.
Yep. John Cusack is the hitman. His sister is his secretary. I believe Minnie Driver
No,
is the girl he left behind, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, no, I don't know.
Gross Point Blank.
Nope, haven't seen it.
Dan Aykroyd's in that flick as well. I'm getting a list together of things that we've got to sit down and watch, because I think you would love that film.
Yeah, and it's so weird, because I have, like, the most obscure movies that, like, I'm sure you haven't seen, or you have seen, but you're like, oh, wow, that, like, sometimes, like, I name a movie, and you're like, wow, I can't believe you've seen that. And then there's other times that you're like, why haven't you seen it?
And then there's other movies, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, because there's one that I have on the list.
Well, you had like a religious upbringing, so a lot of those movies were like things that you watched because you were unable to watch other things.
Yes. I mean, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes, oh yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes, the Nick Cage.
That's
on the bad movie list.
That's on the bad movie list.
Definitely.
I was a fan. I watched that many a times.
And I liked that movie, and it had like a whole Jimmy Hoffa reference in it too, which I thought was hilarious.
We do a whole Nicolas Cage thing too.
Well, yeah, that's like 90% of his movies right now. He went off the rails after I think Ghost Rider.
He recently did a voiceover for some movie. He did the voiceover for Astro Boy.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I just like knowing that it's Nicolas Cage. I was like, no, like he's not. He sucks at this. And Nicolas Cage is a great actor.
Just
like,
not voiceover work.
Yeah, should not do voiceover work at all.
Yeah, because you're supposed to deviate a little bit from your actual voice to kind of give the character uniqueness.
Yeah, no, it was just.
And they did not.
It was literally just Nicolas Cage.
Okay, so is it my turn now?
We just did Old School. You just did the John Cusack.
Okay, so it's your turn.
What movie stars Robert De Niro as an ex-con, Bridget Fonda as a deadbeat girlfriend, and Pam Grier as a money-smuggling flight attendant?
Jackie Brown. Another fantastic Quentin Tarantino film.
Quentin.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's see. What Michael J. Fox comedy tagline was... Oh, no, we've already done this.
Shake, shake, shake.
No.
I mean, what?
He's a big city plastic surgeon in a small town that doesn't take plastic.
Yeah.
We did this one a couple episodes ago. Okay, we're starting to run over a few things. Let's see if we can find something that might be... I think I'm running through things that you actually read to me. Name the see, this is where we have all the dead air. So we're trying to find questions, and it's like there's all this dead air during the end of our podcast where we're trying to.
Yeah, I mean the dead air at the end of the podcast is one thing. During the discussion for the movies, I could see that being an issue, but we don't have too many in that aspect because shut me up.
Who plays Indiana Jones's father in Indiana Jones and the Last
Sean
Crusade?
Connery.
I'm gonna have to see you naked, Mrs. Moneypenny.
50 notion, I guess, is still a yes. So, as you guys can see, if I know the answer, you don't even have to, really, who played the father, Sean Connery?
It's like, can I finish my fucking question?
No, you cannot.
Gotta be a rule for you with certain ones.
We have too much dead air.
Okay, go on. One more piece.
What veteran actress plays the title role? The title role in the 2005 comedy Monster-in-Laws.
Oh, Jane Fonda.
Sir, yes, sir.
Just understand that when you nod, they can't hear that.
Well, yeah, no, yeah.
You were nodding for a second there. It's like I'm looking at you like
I gotta throw my okays in there. You know, like that I say internally.
You're nodding. They can't hear you.
The hair doesn't swoosh.
All right, so what 2006 horror remake stars Nicolas Cage and features the tagline, "Some sacrifices must be made"?
Ghost Rider?
No, but definitely not. Well, yeah, you'd think Ghost Rider would be there. You know, he's from hell, but...
So, Nicolas Cage in a horror movie...
I've seen both films, too, but I don't know that you've seen it.
I can't think of it, but I'm sure I've seen it.
Wicker Man.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Which actually, I think they were saying something about that. There was inspirations from Wicker Man for the Burning Man Festival. Or, like, the movie itself took inspiration from the Burning Man Festival. I don't know. That was a nice, tidy little bit of... Any final thoughts on the shit that we've been talking about?
No, not so much. I mean, obviously, if you guys do like what we do,
Schmack it.
Definitely let us know. We've gotten feedback from one individual who, you know, gave us a few pointers not to put, you know, the mic stand on, like, tables that'll cause rattling.
Yeah, like when you did that, when you smacked the cards down here, that was definitely audible. It showed up.
Yeah, I want them to hear that.
Yeah, put the cards the fuck down. Yeah, you didn't drop them this time.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, if you guys have any feedback, definitely, you know, throw it over to us. So whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on the site where you're listening to the podcast, we'd love to hear from you, get back to you. If you ever want to pitch a movie that you would love for us to do, you could do so. We had a secondary person whom we have not gotten around to, which I think we should do that. The Killing Death.
Yes.
We
a
have
gentleman.
not gotten around to that, but he asked us to review his movie. We're more than willing to do that as well.
And
it's just a matter of timing.
I'm supposed to write back to him and inform him that we've done a review. I feel the need to reach out to him and advise him that our reviews don't necessarily...
aren't good.
They're not good. I mean, we do not really review things. I don't think I've watched something that I've loved so much that I've gone, well, damn, I love this movie.
Snowpiercers. When we did Snowpiercers, there was very little that was negative to say about it. I mean,
we found things.
Yeah,
we got out an hour.
We can find things, but there's certain so far on our list, I don't see too much that we've done. You know, but
our main thing is we like to pick apart little things. We're nitpicky. You know, we like to bitch and complain about the things that we watch, and it shows. You know, and if not everybody in the group here loves the same thing, you know, everybody has differing opinions. I think
I loved In the Name of the King 1. Chris did not.
Right, and I tried to kick you out because you badmouthed the original Star Wars series one episode.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did not badmouth it.
I will bring it up. I will bring it up because you showed some hate for it, and I was like, you didn't like that? No. Okay, you can leave now.
No, we'll get back to that. We'll talk. We'll
go bring it up
next.
I could be wrong.
Next week, Seth apologizes or Chris apologizes.
One of the two. You know what? I'll be honest with you. It's usually me that has to apologize. I want to play, hey, I'm right, and then somebody shows me that I'm wrong, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm not right.
Dunning-Kruger effect.
Well, no, because I'm willing to see what I'm wrong as long as somebody points it out. That's all right. That's another thing. Give us feedback. That's the only way that I know that I'm wrong. Chris learns via intensive feedback.
I learn whatever I want to learn.